Hello, everybody. It's the Gaming Optimist. Today I'm talking about WWE Smackdown. Here comes the pain. Let me see something real quick because I know we talked about one WWE game. Let's go back to go through all this. Is this the first? This is not the first one. Get the okay. Stop. 8:45. 8:45. So we talked about SmackDown versus Raw, 2009. I didn't talk about the roster of that game. Eventually, we will get there. Um, no, we'll talk about that. No, you won't. We won't. We won't talk about it yet. We'll get there eventually. I played these all out of order. SmackDown, SmackDown. Here comes the pain. Yeah, because okay, yeah. So SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 was the first WWE game that I reviewed. Here comes the pain. I beat this one. The fifth entry in WWE's awesome game series, the roster is stacked with new additions like Goldberg and John Cena. The season mode has been improved upon a bit, but like the same in the past, it gets stale if played multiple times. All in all, a fantastic game. What a shitty review for an amazing game. People love Here Comes the Pain for good reason. It's fantastic. It's what started. It's still arcadey enough, and it feels like the perfect like sandwich between Shut Your Mouth and SmackDown, the first SmackDown versus Raw. It was in a really fun time, gameplay wise. Season mode just keeps looping over and over and over again. You can play like you play 1 year of a season mode as a character, and what's really cool is that you can start the next season, right? Going into the next season, and you play as a different character, but all the champions from the previous season are here. There are some glitches which are pretty fun. If like a Raw superstar somehow wins a SmackDown title into the next game, it's pretty. It's like, ooh, what's gonna happen with the next season mode? You're locked out. You have to like completely start over season mode, like erase all your shit. Which sucks. It's like just put them on the other roster. Like I don't. If that's what's the big deal? There's some fun glitches like that. It does get very repetitive because you're playing filler matches over and over again. You could be Goldberg, you could be the champion, you could be a legend. You can put legends in here. You can import legends into the story mode. It's really fun. You can do this. You lose. You're the champion, and then you fight like Ultimo Dragon, and then the next week you're fighting Chavo Guerrero. It's like, why are we fighting these like random ass jobber matches? It's like universe mode in the new games and like the season mode of the old games where there's like not really a story going on. You're just kind of floating around, and sometimes a cinematic will happen. You're like, ooh, or you can kickstart a storyline, but it's like a very miniature storyline. The big storylines don't happen for a while, and it's kind of tedious. Fuck it, let's talk about the roster, shall we? Go to the SmackDown Hotel .com for all your pretty cool stuff. So I mean that's 2005. We are not talking about that. Um, all games. So 2009. We'll talk about that one first. There we go. We're almost there. SmackDown versus Raw 2009 dropped in. Damn, we're almost there. There we go. Wait, oh, there we go. 2008, because it's always like the year before. So this is 2008. I think Here Comes the Pain was 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Here Comes the Pain was 2003, October 27th. Let's go to the roster. Looking at all of the characters. And I'm not going to talk about, I can talk about NPCs as well. Let's just talk about this. Um, let's Here Comes the Pain. Let's look at the roster for 2009 first. Now let's go in order. Okay, we'll do Here Comes the Pain. There's A-Train, Animal, Batista, Big Show, Booker T, Brock Lesnar, Bubba Ray Dudley, Charlie Haas, Chavo Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian, Devon Dudley, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Eric Bischoff, George Steele, Goldberg, Goldust, Hawk, Hillbilly Jim, Hurricane, Iron Sheik, Jazz, Jimmy Snuka, uh, John Cena, Kane, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, Lance Storm, Lita, Matt Hardy, Nikolai Volkov, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Rhino, Ric Flair, Rico, Rikishi, Rob Van Dam. And I like how right here there's NPC as well. Let's look at NPCs. There's Earl Hebner. I like how they have pictures now. That's cool. Referee Earl Hebner for Raw. Mike Chioda for SmackDown. Jerry Lawler. Jim Ross. Michael Cole. Taz. The coach. Jonathan Coachman. And Linda McMahon. Hidden character. I don't remember her being hidden in what, the code? I don't remember ever seeing her. These are the new characters that are not in last year's game. So that would be Shut Your Mouth. Animal and Hawk, so the Legion of Doom. Batista, the Animal Batista. This is his debut. Charlie Haas. That would make Shelton Benjamin too, right? Yep. Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. Chavo Guerrero is making his debut. Eric Bischoff. They wasted no time. They're like, yes, we have him now. Let's put him in the game. George the Animal Steel, who in this game is called the Animal George Steel because they put all like the stuff in beforehand. Goldberg, who until 2014, 15, whatever it was, 16, I forgot which game it was. Until that game, this was the only game Goldberg was ever in before he left. Hillbilly Jim, I think this is the only game he's been in. Iron Sheik, Jimmy Snuka, John Cena, Nikolai Volkov, Rey Mysterio making his debut, Roddy Piper, Rodney Mack, I think this is the only game he's been in the SmackDown series anyway. He might have been on the Raw games. Sable, Scott Steiner, Sean O'Hare, Sergeant Slaughter, Steven Richards, Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man, Ultimo Dragon, and Victoria. This is a very impressive roster of characters. Oh my god. What the fuck, dude? And there's removed superstars in here as well. And there are character models for at least 3 of them. Hulk Hogan, Legend Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Al Snow, Billy Gunn, Billy Kidman, Bradshaw, Jamal, Jeff Hardy, Molly Holly, Rosie, Spike Dudley, William Regal. So that sucks that they took all those characters out. Hogan, I think they something broke down between them and Ultimate Warrior as well. This is easily one of the greatest wrestling games ever made. Yeah, really cool shit. Let's look at 2009. How much did it change in those years? 5 years. Ashley Massaro, Batista, who is now a mainstay in these games. Beth Phoenix, Big Daddy V, Big Show, Brian Kendrick, Bushwhacker Butch, and Bushwhacker Luke. I never played as those characters because they're DLC characters. I didn't get the DLC for this game. Candice, Carlito. They are good DLC characters. Charlie Haas. He's a very terrible character model. I love Charlie Haas, but yeah, very terrible character model. Chavo Guerrero, Chris Jericho. I guess it's a separate character slot for Chris Jericho with Trunks. That's dumb. That's really stupid. Chuck Palumbo, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Kurt Hawkins, DLC Doink the Clown, DLC Earthquake, Edge, Elijah Burke, DLC Evan Bourne. These are all good DLC characters overall, I would say. Festus, Finley, Hardcore Holly, Hornswoggle, he's just a manager. He comes out from under the ring, gives you shillelagh. JBL, Jeff Hardy, Jesse, Jillian Hall, Jimmy Wang Yang, John Cena, John Morrison, JTG, Kane, Kelly, Kofi Kingston, Lance Cade, Layla, Maria, Mark Henry, Masked Man. There's a storyline in this game. We talked about it, I think, where somebody's attacked, I think, Jericho. He has to figure out who did it. And he thinks it might be Randy Orton, might be Mr. Kennedy. You get the Masked Man as a separate character. Matt Hardy, Melina, Michelle McCool, Mickey James, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. McMahon, MVP, Paul London, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio 2008 is a DLC separate slot. That's dumb. I think he's not a separate slot. He's a separate character model, which is better. I think that's how it should be. Ric Flair, Santino Marella, Shad, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin, Snitsky. Super Crazy is DLC. That's wild. Kind of crazy. Taz, Ted DiBiase, the son. He's DLC. The Boogeyman, the Great Khali, the Miz, Tommy Dreamer, Tony. Tony is a Marine in John Cena's storyline. He's been injured, so he's been honorably discharged, I believe, and they beat him up. MVP in his Better Than Utopia. He makes his own country or whatever. You can unlock him, and he just has Cena's moveset. Trevor Murdoch, Triple H, Umaga, Undertaker, Vader's DLC. It's a really good get. Victoria, William Regal, Zack Ryder. This is a damn good roster. There's a lot of Masked Man in DLC. ECW has some bad ones. Big Daddy V is interesting. Yeah, I mean there's some gimmicks in here that are like whatever, like Jesse and Festus. Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, Joey Styles, Justin Roberts, Lillian Garcia, Michael Cole, Mike Chioda, Nick Patrick, Scott Armstrong, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Taz, the Coach, and Tony Chimmel. I used to say Chimel, but Chimmel. And the new characters that weren't in the last game: Beth Phoenix, Big Daddy V making his return from former games in the years past. His first and only time as this gimmick. Big Daddy V was also Viscera, Big Vis, Big Viscera, and Mabel, and King Mabel, and all those. God, I could not stand Big Daddy V. He had a damn good theme. Good on paper, but Big Show is returned this year. I guess he wasn't in the last one. He was out for a minute. So the last time he was in a game, I think, was if this is 2009, I don't think he might have been in 07 actually. So 2007 and 2006. I think he was in 2007. So he took a break between those games. Brian Kendrick, I don't believe was in a game before this. He could have been in 08, but I can't remember. 08's kind of forgettable. Bushwhackers, I think they're making their debut. They're not in. They might be in more games now, but Charlie Haas returning again, terrible character model. Chris Jericho returning since 06. Chuck Palumbo returning since Shut Your Mouth, and that's when he had the gay gimmick with Billy, Chuck and Billy. You look so good to me. Yeah, just super gay theme, gay gimmick. And then he's back in here. You will remember me. He comes out with the fucking motorcycle. He's the biker taker gimmick. American Badass kind of wannabe. I like Chuck Palumbo a lot during this time. And then when he turned heel, I didn't like him because I'm a mark. So anytime there was a bad guy, I didn't like him. Except if your name was Cody Rhodes. When he turned heel, I thought it was dope. Cody Rhodes making his debut here. Same with Ted DiBiase as DLC. Cody Rhodes is not debuted here. Wait a minute. He might have been in 08. He might have been in 07, but I don't think so. Might have been 08. That makes sense. Kurt Hawk, and I think there was DLC that game. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder debuting in this game. I think they're Edgeheads. Yeah, they're the Edgeheads in this game. So they were never in a game as the Major Brothers, Brett and Brian Majors. Doink the Clown is not. Wait a minute. I think this might be Doink the Clown's debut in the SmackDown series, SmackDown versus Raw, and all those. Earthquake has never been in a game before this. Evan Bourne making his debut. Jesse and Festus. Hornswoggle as a manager, but still, it's his debut. Jillian Hall, and she could have been in beforehand and after. I don't think she might have been in one or two more games after this. Jimmy Wang Yang. Kofi Kingston making his debut. I love Kofi Kingston. Love Jimmy Wang Yang too for different reasons. Lance K at RIP. Making his debut. No, not making his debut. Making his return. He and Trevor Murdoch are returning from 2007. That's when they had their really cool, really underrated. I hated them at the time, but what a damn good tag team. Cade and Murdoch were fucking brutal. Really cool theme too. This is when they were split up though. Trevor Murdoch has like the whatever the fuck, and Lance Cade's more like he has the old school Cade and Murdoch theme, but he's more like a pretty boy. Layla, I love Layla. Layla was my crush. She was my favorite diva. I still love her so much. I would love if she came back. Layla L. God, I love her so much. Making her debut here. I guess Maria as well, but Maria I thought was in a former game as well. I'm not sure. Massman Tony, whatever. Paul London is returning from 06. He could have been in 07 as well. Could have been. Not sure. I think Santino is making his debut here. Shelton Benjamin's making his return. So he wasn't in 08. I think he was in 07. If not, it was 06. But he was in 07. Super Crazy was in 07. It's not in 06. Super Crazy and Psychosis are the Mexicools. Taz making his return from 07 as a legend. The Boogeyman, I don't know if he's returning from 07. So he wasn't in 08. That's weird. The Miz making his debut, I guess. It kind of tracks. It kind of tracks a little bit. Vader, I don't think was not in any the other games. This is his debut. It's criminal that he wasn't used more. Victoria making her return from, I want to say it was Here Comes the Pain. I don't think she was in 06 or 07. She was definitely not in 07. Definitely not in 08. That's crazy. So I think this is a really cool thing. Yes, the DLC, there are 2 packs. Evan Bourne, DiBiase, Charlie Haas, Super Crazy, Chris Jericho's alternate attire, Kelly, Maria, Santa, and Kelly, their holiday costumes, Mask Kane, alternate attire, alternate attire for MVP, alternate attire for Edge. These are all PS3 exclusive. That's crazy. Vader, Doink the Clown, Earthquake, and the Bushwhackers are the DLC pack too. Yeah, is incredible game, incredible games. Because Here Comes the Pain. I needed to say a lot more. But you guys have a good one and take care.